Hello, Kath here. It's been a while since I've brought you any new Composer's Thoughts on Craft series because I've had a lot going on in my life. The last blog was on instrumentation, Composer's Thoughts on Instrumentation, and I've just written Composer's Thoughts on Timbre, which is quite related to instrumentation. Just give me a sec. In the background you can hear the opening music for the album, which also has a film clip which I will put up in the lead up to releasing the album. So the beginning music is called the Call of Oma. Timbre. Timbre is more about the essence of a sound, what actually makes up a sound, and I find it very, very fascinating. So you've got everything from the materials an instrument's made of to everything involved in its production, so sound holes and things like that, say for a guitar or a violin, the quality of the wood, the quality of the craftsmanship that goes into making an instrument, and then of course you've got the space that things are played in, which also contributes towards the overall timbre. With instrumentation and timbre on the album, I've tried to keep it relatively linked thematically. So like I've said before, I kept the same sound palette and I've just built track upon track from that same source file. Where we depart is with a track that I'm going to show you in a minute. I've brought in a different timbre because I wanted its ominous quality, and it's getting to a point on the album where things become ominous. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of a tour today of some different timbral sounds and a little insight into the latest track that I've just started writing. I'm not that far into it yet, so we'll go now and we will have a little look at some of the different timbres in my studio. Okay? Hi. So we're going to have a look at the gongs now, which I used and featured on Oriental Temple Gardens Complex, my honours soundscape work. And these are my gongs. I would like to have more. These are only wind gongs, so, and the stand I bought for them recently. We've got this, which is the smallest of the three. And we have the big mama in the middle. I love this one very much. We have the next size up down here. And on the floor here, a collection of different drum timbres. So that one's for more shamanic journeying sort of work. This one has a ceramic clay base and obviously skin membrane. This one is a drum that Oma uses, and this is going to feature on the album. Make this so you can see it. Okay, there we go. It's hard to play with one hand, but that'll feature on the album. Then I've got this other little one here. So this is my Viking horn. This was used in also I Am Song of the Earth film clip. It's got a very unique timbre. Obviously it's a horn. Okay, I've brought you over to my collection of singing bowls, which are, one could say, a type of percussive instrument, or maybe in the metallophone family. I use these in my honours work, Oriental Temple Gardens Complex also. They're not going to feature as such on the Call of Oma, I don't think, but then who knows, because I'm not finished it yet. Oma does play the conch in I Am Song of the Earth, or she picks it up, she finds it at the ocean is the idea, and gives thanks to, you know, to the waves, to the sky, to the spirit of all things for the gift. So I'll show you her conch. I'll be playing this, not this Friday, but or not today, next week at my Way of Sound Therapeutic Soundscape. So this is a conch shell. If you listen really carefully, you'll hear it starts resonating my gongs and the bowls. We have a collection of bowls here, see? And they sound differently depending on whether you play them with a wooden part of a mallet or with here, and whether it's a single strike or whether you're doing a rim play. There's a real art to playing them, and to play them effectively you've got to really slow down. So it's a very meditative process. You're tuning in, you're becoming one with the bowl and just really centering in, and you follow the sound current. You've very much got to go into the sound for it to work. So we will have a listen. And you've got all sorts of different mallets. You can get an essential harmony from these, but it's a different sort of harmony than you get from a stringed instrument, because there's a lot more dissonance in singing bowls. But it's not an unpleasant dissonance. Let's see if I can get these separate. I can't give you a ring play while I hold the selfie stick. It's not a temple bell, it's just an op shop find, but I do like temple bells. We have wind instrument. Can't think of the name of them off the top of my head. A few flutes. I have a percussive rattle here that I made out of coconut with wooden beads. It's got a lovely sound. Great for sort of shamanic work as well. So let's come over and let's have a look at the new track. I also written about in my blog, I've got my whole musicology bookshelf in one spot now. So that's 4 shelves full of stuff that I like to reference. I haven't read it all. There would be a lot more there that I borrowed from libraries, but I don't actually own everything I've read. But I do like to use them in my work. Right, so let's have a little listen. Now, with this one, Only Stories Remained, you can see roughly how much is written, like 33, 40 bars. It's got some other stuff there, but it's not really developed. It's sort of only up to about bar 42 or such. So this one, the unique instrument that this brings in is we've got some effects, some orchestral string effects. Oh, I'm so sorry, it's hard to get this to show you. Orchestral string effects, and we've got, which is Project Sam samples, and then we have another Project Sam string stuff here, and church organ or cathedral organ. So let's have a listen anyway. Hope you can see that all right. Actually, I'll bring you back around to me, mainly because my desk is a total mess. Let's have a listen. So it's still very much the beginning, but I look forward to developing that more. I brought an oboe in with this one, which of course is a string instrument with a different timbre. The cathedral organ, which is a new timbre. And if you think about organs, they very much dominate space. They have these ginormous pipes to resonate their sound in. They sit in cathedrals, so very large ceilings and very large resonant spaces to amplify their acoustics. You've got all the hard surfaces for the reverberation, so you've got these long natural reverb times. And of course the pipes, are made out of metals, so you have a very interesting tone. I'd like to show you a little instrument. It's not quite of the African kind, but it's very similar to probably the first instruments I played as a child, which is one of these. Now you're not going to get ridiculously loud volumes from that, but you've got a combination of wood, small sound hole, and 7 metal. They're like, I guess, steel filings held in place by screws and resting over a wood and metal membrane. And that's what gives you the sound. Yeah, my fascination with sound began when I was very young. I loved listening to the sounds off in the distance, hear building going off on it in the distance, and like it's right out on that periphery of vision, and you might not know exactly what it is, but you've got these sounds out in space, and the imagination starts ticking over, trying to give these things identity, trying to give these things form, and sound perception. Our whole sense of connection in the world and safety is related to sound, so we've always been very finely attuned to what we hear in the world. And as little children who don't have the ability to quantify or qualify or name what they're hearing, sounds become very, like they're your magic carpet. You get to go off on these rides with sound. And I'm lucky, I think, that ability has continued as I get older. I can go off on these magical journeys with sound. So anyway, I'd like to know your thoughts about timbre. What are your favourite timbres? What are your favourite instruments? We're going to be writing more of these blogs. We've got coming up on space, on history, on inspiration, on improvisation, on intention, conceptualization, on studio crafts, social norms, and on philosophy. That's a lot to get through before the album finishes, and I've got 1.5 tracks left to write. So you've got the start of one there. The levels and everything will change with timbres and with voices and instrumentation. It's also a process of what am I going to give prominence to, who needs to be the loudest at this point. I'm not one for excessive bass. I like very much a balanced spectrum of sound. It has to be pleasant. It has to be reasonable. And I also like to try and emulate levels as they would be found in the natural world with analog or acoustic instruments. So not excessive levels of amplification, non-excessive levels of augmentation of specific frequencies, because it's actually not very good for us at all. I think sound and music needs to find its place again as the sacred vessel that it is, to express, many, many things. I think I'm going off on a tangent now, so I've got to leave something for other blogs. So I hope you enjoyed the article. This is, of course, just for my exclusive folk in my mailing list. Please write back to me. I would love to hear your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the start of Only Stories Remained, and I look forward to keeping these going and connecting with you again in the future. Okay, much love. Bye.